Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Taurus Lunar Eclipse, and it's going to be amazing. This eclipse is ending a huge cycle, and it's starting a whole new cycle. And we're going to talk about the power of this eclipse, the Feng Shui for this eclipse, and how to make the most of it, and so much more, because this is a time of raising your value, of manifesting more, of bringing more abundance to your life that's generated from you and your self-worth. It's a huge time of realization and knowing your power, and it's just amazing. And what's most important is that it ends this cycle that started 2 years ago, specifically in November 2019? Sorry, this should be, I think, November 20. No, it should be not 2019. Look back to November 2 years ago, and this is when this cycle started. Not 2019. Let me take that off because I think that that's wrong. But if you look back, not to this past November, the November before, 2 years ago, this is when this really kicked into gear. Imagine that there's been a cycle in your life, maybe for the last few years, that has to do with your value, your wealth, your abundance, your even the things that you value, the most valuable aspects of your life. How were they sort of started? How did they shift 2 years ago in November? So 2 years ago in November, what happened? What started? What got underway? And now looking at today, are you ready to end that cycle and receive the rewards? Because this is Taurus, it's very financial or material rewards or tangible rewards. So it's very rewarding in all ways. And this is so powerful. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Claudat. I'm a modern Feng Shui master. I founded a whole method of Feng Shui, a whole school of Feng Shui that's based on creativity and intention, and most importantly, your sense of being the creator of your infinite possibilities. So this is a limitless practice of Feng Shui that we study in the School of Intention and that I share all over the place. Now, I've been doing this for a really long time, and when I want to do a new project, I just do it. I don't think about it. I just do it because that's how things move. But there's a project that I've wanted to do since 2 years ago when this eclipse started. And I, funnily enough, finally got it done at the perfect time now. The School of Intention podcast is now here. And for those of you on YouTube, you can see the Spotify and Apple links in the description box below. For those of you on Facebook, I'll post them underneath afterward. Follow along. It's going to be amazing. It's a daily podcast till the end of the year and in season 1. And then we're going to start bringing on guests so we can all learn together. And it is full of very short episodes. So between 6 and 12 minutes that are full of Feng Shui and inspiration and ideas and actions, most importantly, actions that you can use, that you can actually do something with. So maybe it'll serve for some of you like an oracle. It'll just hit you. You'll find the right episode at the right time. For some of you, it might be daily inspiration. For some of you, you might listen to it here and there. Whatever it is, I hope you love it. And follow along. If you love it, please leave a review. It's such a big deal to finally have this done. But I wanted to talk for a minute about why it didn't get done. And it's because I had a lot of other things in my life, obviously, to deal with and do. And I also had a lot of force behind it. I was trying to force it to happen. And the more you try to force things, what happens? They force you back. Even I've taken defense classes where when you're forcing against someone, you actually lose power, and how leaning back actually gives you a more powerful stance sometimes, depending on the position that you're in, because force means you're being forced against as well. And a lot of us force life because we're told we have to. And there's something to be said for gearing up and doing things when you don't quite feel it or you're not 1,000,000% inspired. However, this is a big time, this eclipse, to take force out of your life. So if you've been trying to force something to happen or push it to happen or freak out and put a lot of mental force on it, so not even force, physical force, but mental force, it can create so much of what people say is resistance. It can make it more difficult for things to come to you with ease. And I want things to come to you with more ease. I want you to just be happier overall. So take some force out of your life and embrace more of the prosperous flow. That's what the 28th is all about. This eclipse ends this cycle again with the opening up to rewards. All eclipses are openings, portals to energy pouring in. And so when energy is pouring in new energy or things that we need to know, solutions that we need, the people that we need to meet, all of these things, when you open up to that, life can expand. And so every eclipse is a shakeup and expansion. Some people get freaked out by the eclipses. They're like, oh, I don't want things to happen. Embrace all the changes. If you're here to grow, embrace the changes. And I have a feeling you are here to grow, or you wouldn't like this work and you wouldn't be here. So embrace all the changes and enjoy the podcast. I can't wait for you to listen to it. So value, as I said, is in the spotlight right now. And this eclipse is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And it's a partial lunar eclipse. It's a full moon, big opening, release, all of these things, but most importantly, upgrade. And so when the eclipses happen, they happen in cycles with 2 zodiac signs at a time. And sometimes those cycles overlap, but basically we go between 2 zodiac signs, which are going to affect specific areas of your life. This is why I said, if you look back to 2 years ago, you'll see exactly what aspects of your life were sort of shaken up by this eclipse, the last eclipse cycle. And this is ending now with the rewards, with the biggest upgrades. And so with this one, it's about value in some way, how much you value yourself, how much you value your highest priorities. So this is very important. Ask yourself if you have been valuing yourself highly enough. Do you put yourself down? Do you criticize yourself? Are you constantly nitpicking at yourself, comparing yourself to other people, and you're just not enough? You're just not good enough. You're just not old enough or young enough or this enough or that enough. All of this. Have you been tearing yourself down? First thing is to be your ally, to decide definitively that you are going to be your best friend. You are no longer going to tear yourself to pieces. You are going to build yourself up every single day. Now, to really demonstrate this to the universe, because it's one thing to say, I'm making a decision. Now live it. One of the things you can do is to triple, quadruple down on your self-care. And self-care is not just beautification. It's not just bubble baths. It's not just sleeping. It's all the things of how you treat yourself and how you replenish yourself. So it could be more sleep or more beautification or taking more rest to more naps, all of these things. But it could also be taking your vitamins. It could also be doing things that make you feel fully alive and all the self-care that you could possibly dream of. Double down, triple down. If you've had things that you've done in the past, like, oh, I loved it when I used to meditate in the morning, meditate in the morning. I loved it when I used to do my yoga class 5 times a week. Go back to it. If you can't go back to it by going to a class, find a way to do a little bit of yoga every day at home. Make it a priority to value yourself highly. When you value yourself, you teach the whole world how to value you. And so it starts with you. Oftentimes we look outside of ourselves for people to say, you're valuable, you're talented, you're good at this. But it's the people who I remember from I just remember moving to LA. And to give you this Hollywood analogy, The people who knew how good they were as an actor, as a writer, as whatever, they're all famous now, like 15, 20 years later. Not everyone becomes super famous, but the people who really knew how good they were and they were willing to lean into that and own it, every single person I know who truly believed in how good they are, something happened for them. And maybe in a different but related field, but something big happened for them. And it's traumatic when you see it in Hollywood because you see like people go from anonymity to big project, but you don't necessarily see it as much in your own life unless you lean into it and live it. So lean into it and live it. Believe in how amazing you are. Cultivate your talents. If you have a talent for something, don't let it languish. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm just going to be discovered, or only certain people. It's like just being discovered is like being hit with a magic wand. Someone's going to walk by and go, you are so good at this. Instead, discover yourself and be your own magic wand and affirm for yourself every day how valuable and tremendous and gifted and just incredible you are. And if you can do that, that delusion will become a reality. It's not a delusion, but if you feel like you're deluding yourself or it sounds weird to even think about doing it that way, this is how you build amazing things. There's a bit of, I think delusion's a funny word. It's becoming kind of popular to talk about it in that way. But this like this whole universe of hyping yourself up will ultimately be prosperous, and not just financially, but in all ways, because when you see the best in you, you can see the best in other people. You can bring that out of them. It's just a cycle of excellence. Now, another big way you can demonstrate to the universe, I am ready for more, is to ask for what you really need and want. So if someone says, what's your rate for this job? Say what you really need and want. If they can't afford it, they'll let you know. If you want to raise, ask for what you really need and want. You don't have to justify it. Just ask. These are the things, like, unless you ask, people don't necessarily know. And this is really incredibly important. Ask for what you need and want. Now, at home, Feng Shui, to get ready to receive, has all to do with beauty and creativity and creating sanctuary for yourself. Because if you want to prosper in the biggest ways, having a sanctuary is going to make the difference. So how do you create a sanctuary in your space? We're going to talk about some simple things that you can do to just give everything a little level up. Again, we're doing upgrades. So one thing that you can do is sweep the path to your front door. You want to have welcome. You want to have an opening. Even wash your front door. You're greeted by greatness. You feel everything has really been cared for. That's big words right now. Cared for. Pouring love into things. Pouring energy into things. You want to feel restored, revitalized, and you want your home to feel the same, because your home is an extension of you. And when you have a sanctuary around you, what you actually have is a space where you can deeply tap into the manifesting power of your home, where you can deeply tap into the creative inspiration of your home, where you can deeply tap into the wellness potential that your home provides you. All of this stuff starts when you decide. Again, decisions are very big. This is a decisive time. Eclipse season is not about sitting on the sidelines and going, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. It's about engaging and deciding and making the most of it. So what decision can you make right now about your space? What are you going to take care of? Maybe it's your clutter. Maybe it's some stuff that you have wanted to change. Maybe it's reorganizing. Maybe it's completely repainting and refinishing something. What is it that you really need to upgrade? And this will be like an engine for you. I have, for the longest time, wanted to paint this room, and I haven't done it. And now I'm starting to think, this could be an interesting time to do that. I'm not sure yet, but I'm making other very big decisions. So make some decisions about your home and how you might shift even some small things That will help you tremendously to feel more at home. Another big thing you could do is bring in more nature. I'm headed to the store right now and I'm going to come home with giant bouquets of flowers. I love flowers year round. Bringing in even flowers that, you have for a week, perfect. Bringing more nature into your space is so important. Houseplants, fantastic. Flowers. Bowls of fruit are particularly wonderful, especially and gourds and pumpkins. Now is the season for many of us for gourds and pumpkins and all of these fabulous, really prosperous fruits and vegetables and gourds and all of these symbols of the harvest. So bring in as much of that as possible. Fill up bowls, eat them, use them, and also replenish them. And you'll have this endless sense of abundance in your space in simple ways. You don't have to redecorate everything. One thing is when you pick things you actually enjoy. Don't get things just because they're decorative. Maybe a few decorative pumpkins or gourds or whatever it is, but pick things that you enjoy eating, because that's part of it, is actually enjoying all of this stuff that you're bringing into your space. And the idea is upliftment. It's beautification. It's that sense that everything is just getting refreshed and revitalized. Now, your home is one of your greatest influences. Your home is influencing you all day long. This is why this Feng Shui is so life-changing and powerful in the way that we practice it here in this method, because you're really deeply, powerfully connecting to the layers of influence, the energies, the flow, all of these different things, plus what you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, all of it is influencing you all day long. So if you want to leap to a new level in life, change your influences. When you hear this from people, you hear, you become just like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Okay. That's an influence. That's powerful. It's not necessarily that you just have to become like them, but it has an influence on you. You have influence on others. Others have influence on you, and everything in your home is influencing you all day long. So what's really important is to, one, notice what's influencing you and decide throughout all aspects of your life if these are the influences that you want. So you can look at the places you've been spending a lot of your time, the people you've been spending a lot of your time with, the things that you've been spending your time watching or looking at, even the things you've been spending your time speaking about. Is it worth your time to have those influences? Is it worth your energy to have those influences? Your time is your greatest valuable asset. How you invest it is going to be game changing for you. So if you have things that are a draining, not positive influence, like scrolling endlessly on social media, that might drain you completely. If you stop doing that, imagine how much more time you're going to have for attracting the love of your life, for being in the best shape of your life, for having fun adventures, for seeing your friends, for enjoying major abundance coming in. You'll have so much more energy for it. You'll start to feel differently overall. You will bring your energy higher and higher. Now, the second piece of this is that this is a very, very significant time of maintaining your individuality. So rather than being instantly influenced by what the people around you are saying about anything, whether it's the news or what you choose to eat or how you choose to live or your religion or anything else, you choose. And make sure that everything that you are doing is your decision, your choice, your opinion, rather than the opinions of other people. Make sure that if you are afraid of something or resisting something, that it's not because other people don't want it for you or because they have fears around those things. Notice what is yours and what is not yours, and let go of what is not yours. And you don't need to hold on to other people's influences in that way. And when you can separate yourself from that herd mentality, that group think where it's like, oh, yes, I should do this. Oh, yes. This is going to be key for the age of Aquarius. When we talk about what's going to make you soar in the years ahead, it's this. It's first, as we talked about, pouring love into yourself, valuing yourself highly, being your own hype man and hype woman, taking yourself to a height of self-confidence, and then maintaining your individuality. You know what? You might not agree with everything of your chosen political party. Have the critical thinking for that. You might not agree with everything that your whatever group you're in wants to do. Maintain your individuality. It doesn't mean you have to be at war with people or fight or argue, but it's so important to have your critical thinking and be able to make those individual choices. This is how you honor your instincts, your individuality, your gifts, your creativity in the biggest ways, where you have a voice that's distinct, where you don't sort of blend into everyone else. One of the things that I think is so funny is that people say that authenticity is a marketing strategy. And every time we go through that in the Feng Shui school, I say it's ridiculous. It's not a marketing strategy. It's just a life. Like if you can't really be yourself, not fake being yourself or fake being authentic by doing something or other, you have to be you. And that is a process for a lot of us. It's certainly been a process for me of stripping away other people's ideas, other people's beliefs, other people's fears. There's larger community thoughts about different things and what is possible. And when you do that, you get rid of the limitations that other people and group thought have said is realistic and not realistic. You create reality for you. Ultimately, you're going to live with the decisions that you make. You're going to take responsibility for what you do and start by maintaining your individuality. I can't say enough about this. I'm so passionate about this and about our freedom of self-expression. Practice manifesting more. This is the book that was sent to me. I love it. It's called Project 369. It doesn't have this isn't high quality paper. Like you could see through the pages. It's not like the best quality book I've ever received in my life. It is the best energetic book though. There's it's up there in terms of these types of journals that I've gotten. It's up there. The content is amazing. I could feel the high vibes of the book. They really put some great energy into this book. And it's a practice of manifesting. So we're going to go through how to do this manifesting practice, whether or not you have this journal. So it's called 369. And the 369 journal really is about this 369 manifesting method. And here's how you do it. First thing is you're going to decide what you want to focus on. You could be focusing on a lot of different things, but for our intents and purposes, you're going to pour energy into just one thing right now that you really want. Doesn't mean everything else won't happen. You're just going to focus on one thing. So decide for the next, few weeks or few days, I'm going to focus on this one thing. Pour a lot of love and energy into it. Great. So what you're going to do is make a statement now of what this is that you want as though you already have it. So if you want a new job, you say, I have the best new job where I love my coworkers and I'm making so much money and I'm so happy with everything that I do. If you want a new car, I'm driving the best car. I can't believe that this car is mine. It does all the things that I want. You're going to make a statement as though you already have it, right? So you're going to write out your statement as though you already have the thing that you want. And you're going to write it 3 times in the morning on a piece of paper. After you write it 3 times, you're going to sit and visualize it and feel it. Actually feel in your body. Where do you feel this thing? Imagine it's already manifested. Just thinking about what I want right now makes me feel so grounded, so calm. I actually feel myself going more toward the center of my body. I feel stronger all the way through, all the way even up to my shoulders. I feel stronger. Notice how it feels when you think about what you want as though it's already arrived. Okay. And so once you have that, that's one piece of it. Then the next afternoon, same afternoon, You're going to write the same phrase, the same statement 6 times. So you did 3 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, and then do the same visualization and feeling as though you already have it. And in the evening, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it 9 times. You're going to write all the things 9 times. That's one statement. And then you're going to visualize it and feel it. And you just do this for a few days. It might manifest right away. It might take a little bit more time, but it's a great way to pour love and energy and focus into what you want. One of the reasons why I love working with space is because your environment can help you to focus. And sometimes having, even if it's not this journal, you could have any kind of notebook, or I have my sketch pad that you can have designated and that you can see, put it out on your desk, put it somewhere where you can see it all day long, and you can then grab it and use it. And do practices like this to practice using your power of focus and imagination and making and breaking through barriers and just seeing and living into the life that you want. Ultimately, when you start using Feng Shui in your life, in your home, in all different ways, you start to create that in every aspect of your home and your life. And I'm going to just remind you right now, this is the last 2 days that the School of Intention is open for registration for the 2023 session. All the details are below on YouTube in the description box, and they will be below in a bit on Facebook for you to learn more and join us. It's a deep dive into everything. You Feng Shui your whole home, you Feng Shui your whole life. You learn everything that I know and do and have practiced for years and years. That's been pretty game-changing for me and wildly game-changing for other people. And it's really a practice for a lifetime, and it's a lifetime membership. Once you join the school, you can come back again and again and again and again and again. And it's the best. It brings me so much energy. I don't want to say I feel guilty that it's my job, because it's so much fun, but it is one of those things where I just feel so blessed. And that brings me to when we're talking about manifesting more and embracing all this energy, really understand for yourself the blessings you already have. If you want to bring more abundance in, more rewards, more of these things, gratitude is always the best thing. And it's really, especially in your home, it's tempting to look around and see what's wrong. Look around and remember what is right. It will serve you well. And I'm hoping that you have the most epic, amazing eclipse, not this weekend as I'm filming this, but on the 28th. And even you might be feeling the energy already. I mean, hey, I got the podcast done. That was one end of the cycle. This is a great time to finish projects that have been lingering, to do things that you've always been thinking of doing, maybe for the last 2 years. And now you're like, it is time, and I'm going to embrace the flow. I hope you have such a great time with this, and I hope you prosper wildly. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye, everyone.